All right, everyone, welcome back. Simply Bitcoin. We break down the news from Twitter, the daily fail, the meme review, the software releases, and the websites by plebes. Drop us a like, subscribe. All right, we're going to the numbers. Let's do it. Okay, so at the time of recording, the block height is 679,825. The Bitcoin price is 56,240. Chain rewrite days, 640. Total lightning capacity, 1,199.90. Bitcoin versus gold market cap, 9.08%. And sats per dollar, unfortunately, 1,778. Bit of a climb.
Bit of a climb, but man, we're just channeling. We're just going sideways, but and dude, that hash rate took a bit of a hit too, so that needs to recover as well. But yeah, man, it's anyways, dude. If we were complaining about these numbers a year ago, we'd be so happy, right? So it's just Bitcoin spoils you that way. But anyways, Phil, it's time for
the daily fail. All right. So the daily fail, it's obviously not documenting Bitcoin. That account is doing a great job of documenting Bitcoin. But this is it's more just the energy FUD, right? We want to kind of destroy this over and over again because it's such garbage. So let's take a look at this. Let's take a look at this tweet, but more specifically, let's take a look at, this article, right, was written in 2017. Bitcoin mining on track to consume all of the world's energy by 2020. Okay. So now we're going to fast forward to our boy, Denver Bitcoin. Okay. Next time you encounter the Bitcoin uses too much energy and is destroying the planet crowd, show them this video. Okay. Nick Carter, maybe this will save you some time. All right. So here we go, guys. Let's take a look at this a little bit and see what he's talking about.
The miners aren't just beneficial to create a monetary return. They also offer a solution to gases that would have been flared or vented off, reducing the emissions at every site that they're deployed.
Producers are willing to invest in this tech if they can get a reasonable payout and it solves an environmental issue, which is their emissions profile, if they can reduce that. When we can offer them a product that reduces their tax obligations, like the carbon penalties, it's exciting. It's exciting to them. It's exciting to everyone because just wasting less resources is exciting in general, I think.
We've worked with them since early 2020 on this is part of our greenhouse gas emissions project to reduce it. And so, yeah, it generates a little bit of profit on the other end, and it's good. It drastically reduces our emissions and keeps us legal, so it's great. It's the natural gas engine running a hydraulic pump, downhole pump. Oil comes up in the top line to the tanks, oil and water.
Okay, so look, I'm not going to watch the whole entire thing. It's a little bit too long for our show, but okay, everybody should get the picture, right? This is only the beginning. As more and more energy producers realize that they could be creating a secondary stream of income with their waste, this is totally game over. I mean, it actually is good for the environment. It really does do what the greenest environmentalists want. They don't, they pretend that they don't want it because they think it's evil because of all kinds of other garbage. But at the end of the day, it's actually doing what it is that they're touting. So, I think, I think Bitcoin's going to have a really interesting future, and there's going to be some really cool discussions around how it's actually maybe saving the planet.
I completely agree with you, Phil. I think, man, it's so funny, this propaganda that's clear, it's like, oh, Bitcoin's boiling the oceans. But, it's a fact, man. Bitcoin doesn't use energy that's, in demand. It uses energy that was already going to go to waste, right? So, man, and that's going to change how people kind of shape around each other, because people are going to kind of group up around isolated energy sources, and this could be anywhere around the world because Bitcoin mining doesn't require fast internet speed or anything. Right. So it's just, man, it's exactly what you said, Phil. It's the potential is absolutely crazy. And you know, it's just funny seeing those articles, man. I can't believe anyone takes these people seriously anymore at this point. It's just so stupid. But anyways, Phil, it's time for
The Daily Meme Review.
all right, everybody. The meme for today is brought to us by a plebe. Let's check him out. Satoshi Yoshi Nakamario. Awesome name,
I love that
bro. You can go follow him at just 21 million. Awesome handle too. Anyway, 60,000, 64, 55. This is great, man. I'm gonna give it a like. This is great, man. Shout out this guy. Awesome meme. Awesome meme. And for that, I'm gonna give it a very special score. Makes absolutely no sense, like this scoring system. I'm gonna give it $1 Zimbabwe dollar. Okay, just to give you kind of a reference how much this bill makes no sense. I don't have it with me, but there's $100 trillion bill of this. Why the hell would they make $1? It costs more money to make this than it's worth. I don't understand. Anyways, Phil.
Dude, you've been handing out cash these last few times, you know? It's always giving this out. I mean, all right.
I collect worthless currency. Anyways, here it is. Look, how does this make sense, Phil? How does this make sense? Anyways, I'm sorry.
No, all good. But yes, hilarious meme. Follow the original poster, of course. And I'm going with a tomato and grapes.
Boom.
I think it was good. I liked it a lot. That was a good laugh. And he managed to incorporate the laser eyes, you know?
Yep.
That was cool.
Dude, yeah. It was a great meme. It was a
Very
great
well
meme.
done.
Very well done. Anyways, Phil, it's time for
The Daily News, sponsored by Crypto Cloaks.
all right, everybody. So check this out, man, Phil. There was some carnage when Bitcoin dropped that price that it did from it was 61 to 55. Check this out. Bitcoin sees historic levels of liquidation across multiple exchanges. A lot of people get wrecked. You know, that saying, you know, stay humble, stack sats. Like, it's such an easy saying, but it really means just stay humble, stack sats. Staying humble means like not taking it, not being a dumbass and taking on leverage. But check this out, Phil. $3.4 billion in long liquidations. So $3.4 billion worth people got liquidated. That's crazy. And that dwarfed the last time. Last time it was only 1.9 billion. This last weekend it was $3.4 billion got liquidated on an exchange. That's freaking crazy, Phil. That's a lot of money, dude. That's a lot of degenerate gamblers. Bro, they could have just, stacked sats, been humble, bro, take it easy, long time preference. But dude, they just decided to bet the house. Phil?
They wanted more corn, and now they have less. It's so painful to see that, because there's a lot of these people, they just, like you and me, they just wanted more corn. So it's like, you kind of feel for them, but at the same time, this is why I don't leverage any of my Bitcoin on an exchange. This is why I don't, put any of it, to work in that at all in that way. I just simply hodl, stack my sats, and that's just tough enough. Like, people sit there and they think, they think like, oh yeah, that's so easy. You're just lucky. It's really difficult, because you really do get enticed to go and try to make more Bitcoin with your Bitcoin. And, right now, I personally don't see any avenue, a safe avenue anyways, with the exception of trying to maybe use your Bitcoin with your own Lightning node and pool, to see if maybe you can, make more Bitcoin off of, fees by routing other people's transactions maybe. I think that to me is the safest, but it's also kind of, I think, the most difficult, because it's way easier to go to, some exchange and leverage your Bitcoin. So look, we're kind of at we're at an in-between stage, right? We're at an in-between stage, and eventually it's going to get a lot easier to, put your Bitcoin to work safely, without taking on, I believe, unnecessary risk.
Phil, there was an other piece of news, which is awesome. Very, very bullish. Check this out.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. OKX supports Lightning Network for faster, cheaper Bitcoin transactions. OKX is pleased to announce that Bitcoin Lightning Network is now live on OKX website, enabling much faster, cheaper transactions. OKX users are now able to use Lightning Network for both Bitcoin deposits and withdrawals. This is awesome. I know Kraken is also working on this as well. I know I spoke to the CEO of CoinCoiner. They're also working on Lightning deposits as well. So it's good to see that exchanges are moving in this direction, because it's exactly what you're saying, Phil. Fees are starting to not be cheap, like especially if you want, if you want your transaction to be firm quick. I think, bro, you're paying like $6 to $7 at this point, so it's good that exchanges are heading in that direction, taking advantage of Lightning and how cheap the fees are. But anyways, Phil,
it's it's huge, and it's interesting that it goes along with what I was saying before with the previous news, right? I mean, like, here we are, we're talking about safe ways of being able to make more Bitcoin with your Bitcoin. Well, here you go. You've got an exchange now supporting Lightning. I think that there's, and again, I don't know this because I really have no in-depth knowledge of the, the coding behind it or anything, but I really think that Lightning is one of those things where we don't understand how big it's going to be yet. Like, we just don't get it. We see it in this really simplistic way, or at least I see it in this simplistic way, as just this layer on top of Bitcoin that enables, for the moment, cheaper transactions, faster, more private on Bitcoin. But at the same time, like, I don't think we realize the value that it really has unlocked and the types of businesses that are going to essentially grow on top of Lightning. So I'm in wonder. And I'm excited for what's to come,
Super bullish. Super bullish. But guys,
excited. I don't know why.
Because Bitcoin. Yeah,
Bitcoin. I know that, but I don't know the rest, so.
All right. But anyways, yeah. Phil, check this out. Pretty crazy. Another country that banned Bitcoin is just turning around and say, oh, hey, Bitcoin's legal again. We saw this with Venezuela, saw this with other countries, right? But check this out. After a Bitcoin crackdown, China now calls it an investment alternative, and a significant shift in tone. And then I read this article by Bitcoin Magazine, and it wasn't only China. It wasn't only Li Bi, right? It was Robert Kaplan of the Federal Reserve, right? Check out this quote from the article. Right now, it's clear it's a store of value. It obviously moves a lot in value, which could keep it from spreading too far, the medium of expanded wide adoption, but that can change, right? So, man, that's a member of the Federal Reserve saying those comments, right? And then you have, I guess a member of the Central Bank of China saying it as an alternative investment. I understand why China would say that, right? Because you could see Bitcoin as an attack on the dollar, and China doesn't benefit from that. But I guess this just goes. I guess this is just an example of the incentives of Bitcoin are too deep, Phil. I don't know. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think it has to do with the incentives. Number one, number two, it's this goes back to something that I learned, on Tales from the Crypt. I don't even remember who they were talking to, and unfortunately, I can't quote the original poster, but. Governments that censor the most require censorship-resistant money the most. And that kind of always stuck in my head about all these countries banning Bitcoin or pretending to ban Bitcoin. Because at the end of the day, these entities that are doing this, they need Bitcoin just as much as everyone else, if not more. So I'm really, I'm perpetually bullish on Bitcoin, like forever and ever, because it can't be stopped. So, fuck everyone. But at the same time, I think that this is what happens, right? The governments are going to play this game, and it's going to, I think that obviously we see it impacts the Bitcoin price, but it impacts the overall tone of the market. And then they switch. This is the same thing we saw in 2017. I don't remember how many times I saw China ban Bitcoin back in 2017, 2018. India banned it at least once that I recall. I mean, this is just, and they all ban it. They always do it in a slightly different way. So people sit there and think that it's really serious this time, or it's this time it's different. This time it's different. but it's never different. It just isn't. Like, that's not what they're doing. Anyways, bullish.
And you know, Phil, like, I would add to that, like, it's like you can't feasibly like enforce a Bitcoin ban. Like, you'd have to shut off. I think it was an SEC or an ex-SEC member, whatever, that said, like, you'd have to literally shut down the internet, right? So, like, I think Bitcoin's at that point of decentralization, right? You know, that China hash rate drop, you know, was like an area of concern, but as you can see, you know, Honey Badger doesn't care, and it just kept on going, right? Mm-hmm. So I mean, like, man, it can't be stopped, and it's so bullish. But anyways, Phil, there was a software release today. Why don't you tell everybody?
Software releases. All right, we've got Bitcoin Core version 0.21.1 that was released, and in that is going to be the speedy trial activation method for Taproot. And I'm not even going to try to explain any of that. We've got Ben the Carman on joining us tomorrow as our special guest, and we're going to let him do a much better job than us at explaining that. And yeah, the details to the Bitcoin Core release are down below in the show notes.
Thank you, Phil. Yeah, that sounds like a very good idea to have someone on like Ben to explain all of that, because that's just hard, but he's gonna make sense of it. But yeah, I'm very excited. But anyways, guys, you know what to do. If you enjoyed the episode, don't forget to smash that like button. Yeah, smash it. And of course, if you want to continue hearing the news from the Bitcoin perspective, definitely consider subscribing. And the catastrophic fails. And we will see you tomorrow.